The world is divided into two pieces. First half of the audiophiles believe that cables are crucial and they are very important to complete your audiophile setup to extract the last bit of refinement from the transducers that you are using. And the other half of the audiophile world believes that they are, well, nothing. And the only purpose of a cable is to provide an aesthetic upgrade or touch and feel. These group of people largely blame that cable changes are placebo for the most part. And the other half believes that these are just marketing gimmicks that these cable companies are providing. Now, if we analyze the demographic of these opinionated clusters, we can see people who believe that cable matters come from a bit of elite, a bit of flagship kind of territory in audio, where $500 for cable is like nothing. And people who believe that cable means nothing, this demographic comes from a place where largely they are into the more budget kind of thing. $500 is expensive for me too. Like $500 in India is pretty huge chunk of money to spend on a cable. Although the amounts that I am discussing in this video or this section of the review is a placeholder, don't take everything for quote unquote literally. As a reviewer, I must provide conclusion for both part of the audiophile world, and that is what I'm going to do in this video. I borrowed this cable from a very dear friend of mine who wanted to keep his identity anonymous. So thanks dude, you know who you are, and thanks for letting me try them. But where I as a reviewer, as an audiophile, stand in this discussion, I do think that cable can make a huge difference in audio, but there is a but. Not all cables are same. Some cables do have a peculiar behavior with most of the IEMs that I have used, so let's discuss this a bit. There are a lot of factors that goes into the phenomena that cables do change the sound. But at the end of the day, don't keep yourself surrounded by the fact or the thought that cables don't make a difference. They do, and it's not like a subtle difference. It can be night and day, and don't believe into the stuff that cables don't make a difference. They make huge difference in some cases. That even after a point, you don't have to EQ the IEM. Like, it can make such big difference in your IEMs. For a quick example, I am using the Elysian Acoustics Annihilator for a few days now, and it is a near perfect IM for my preference, but it's not perfect. So I am using this Vortex cable. This is called Lavinia. It comes at around $750. It made the Annihilator sound a way bit more refined, a way bit more coherent than the liquid cable. So I'm not saying everything out of just placebo. It does make a lot of difference, and I EQ'd Elysian Acoustics Annihilator loads of time, so I know how this IM performs. Now, coming to the dark side of the cable rolling, not every IM cable will give you a changed, subtle or not. It might not change anything for you. Cheap cables, in my experience, don't alter the sound that much. Mid-range cables do alter the sound, and they come with a few drawbacks. And high-end cable like the Vortex comes with just a bit of refinement factor that can make the IM sound very good without giving you a lot of drawbacks. And I will discuss this phenomenon in the upcoming effect audio section. Effect audio cable kinda sits in the middle, where they do alter some changes in the sound frequency, but they do come with a few drawbacks in the presentation too. It might be worrisome for you, so please watch the whole video to find out what drawbacks are they coming with, what features they are providing, what things that they are upgrading and uplifting. So let's discuss the cables a bit further. The cheapest product of the three is ARES 2, ARES S2. It's a 26 AWG, which is a measure of gauge, 8-wire OCC cable with EA ultra flexi insulation, It comes at a price tag of $199. The middleman of the Signature Series 2 is the CADMUS 2. It's same as the ARES 2 in gauge and wires. The insulation is same too. The sole of the cable is now made by silver plated copper. It comes at a price tag of $249. And the last and the most expensive part of the family is EROS S2 cable. It combines three elements to create a more unique approach to the build. It has a pure silver core, wire in the middle, and a combination of 3 and 6 sized core bundles with EA Ultra Flexi insulation. The gauge and the wire are same as the previous two cables, and it comes with a price tag of $299. If you want the whole Signature series, this will cost you around $750, which is quite a lot since you can get Software Twilight at the same price in different sales. So let's see what you can get by spending all these bucks on a cable. For testing, I'll be using the 634 years low-key TX01, which comes at a price tag of $1,400 in Singapore. The reason behind choosing this IM is straightforward, since I wanted to test only a single DD which can show the changes easily, and for the fact that the impedance in a single driver IM will be higher than the regular multi-driver IMs, where the reciprocal of the total impedance is summation of all the driver impedance in parallel configuration, making the total impedance lower than the lowest impedance driver. Again, take this with a grain of salt. I'm not heavily involved in the physics side of things and I might be wrong. We will only be able to see if there is any real life differences in the sound, avoiding all the technical jargon. So let's see. So coming to the IM, TX01 is a treble. It has a treble peak around the lower treble, which bugged me a lot, along with the lower mid recession. Also didn't seem appealing to me. The details were okay, nothing that great. Upper treble felt great. The low end was okayish too. So it made the judgment of the cables a lot easier for me, since all the important section in the frequency response produce some sort of deviation to identify the cable characteristics to the fullest. Now coming to the cable review, for the build they are just simply awesome. They feel premium and robust. The handling of the wires is satisfying. EROS S2 feels same as the EROS S wire, where it feels rubbery and smooth to touch, almost like a powdery coated leather. ARES and CADMUS, they have a textured finish to their coatings. Coming to the connectors, the connector is one of the toughest and robust connectors I have seen till date. If you don't take stuff like liquid cables into consideration, the splitters are beautiful too, and they project the material they used to decorate the splitters in a scattering fashion. They look like an alien tech, to be honest, and I loved it. The ear hooks are more on the stiffer side, which I prefer since I have a pretty small ears, so if the ear hooks are not stiff, they might fall out of my ears. So the comfort was great for my ears too, although I can't vouch for everyone, since I have seen a lot of people who had a problem with stiff ear hooks. The weight was on the heavier side, and I wish they would have lightened the cable a bit. Sometimes the weight of the cable does affect the comfort of my ears. Yeah, it's a downside. The connex connectors eliminate the need of a lot of cables, and the build quality of the connectors are robust to say the least, although I fear that sometimes they might become too loose on the cable, but fortunately it eliminates the FOMO that you can get with the certain cables. Like this Vortex cable 2 comes with a connex connector, so it's a pretty good thing. Now coming to the sound quality of the cables, they provide a very noticeable amount of changes in the sonics. I don't have knowledge about the materials or the impulse response, to say the least. I don't know how these things work. Okay, I judge them by ears and almost blindly, because I am an audiophile. I am skeptical about my own decisions too. So here they are. Coming to the ARES S2, the pro of this cable is it has a bit more organic tonality, and the con of this cable is it loses a bit of bass control, which makes the bass a bit loose. ARES S2 will give you a smoother 4 to 6 kHz region, where the IM became a lot more tolerable. The mid bass sounded fuller and eliminated the steeper slope. The uplifted mid bass do also executes a slight forward mid elevation, which gave it a bit of warmth in the vocals. The treble air was fairly reduced to where I felt the air missing. The soundstage was lesser, yet the projection was rounded and more dense. Although the upper mids were safer, the textural perception increased a lot. The bass got a big hit in the presentation with the ARES S2. The bass became broader in projection area and felt a bit loose in control. The decay of the bass was much lower and the attack stayed the same, though the punch felt slightly lower too. At the price of $199, I think this cable solved the major issue I had with the Loke 2 TX01 without losing a lot much of anything. Now coming to the EROS S2, the pro of this cable is it has excellent refinement, but the con of this cable is it is not extremely good in micro contrast, very organic upper mids and smoother female vocals, which makes the Loke 2 smoother and a bit too refined. Mid-bass takes a backseat, offers a linear representation. Mid-range gets a better place for showcasing its attributes that is present in the IM. The upper treble gets very smooth and refined with this cable. Soundstage gets a good extension and expansion. The micro contrast, texturing, micro details take a backseat with this cable. The bass punch takes a hit too with the EROS S2. I like the previous version of the EROS way too much, so I tried it with Verdandi. I tried it with lots of IMs and it increased my listening time up to 4 to 6 hours, and I was surprised with that cable. So it does get an inclination from me in terms of preference, but I would say that at a price tag of $299 that we're paying, I would love to see some refinement into the detail section also. I would love a bit more textured forwardness, a bit more details in the music. But yeah, it's a great cable if you want these characteristics in your IM. The last one which gave me the most satisfaction out of these 3 cables I tried in this signature series, CADMUS 2. The pro of this cable is the mid-range texture and tonality is exceptional. The con is nothing as such to complain about with this cable. This cable is amazing, to be honest. Huge mid-range and texture upgrade. Every instrument and vocals got a massive texture boost in the representation. Some nasally sounding vocals got body to the representation. The bass depth and extension got reduced a bit along with the attack. Voices sound out of the head and in a very spacious manner. The treble is not satisfactory all the way through. I didn't like the treble with this cable. Wow. The space is not expanded, but it is more even in all the other directions and it is dense in the same time. Dynamics are a bit slow, but transients response changes in the frequency seem to be pretty fast. I didn't like the previous CADMUS that much, but I can say that CADMUS 2 is a great upgrade to that, and for the price of $249, the cable is a no-brainer to add in your collection. And I would say that if you need one cable for everything, I would recommend the CADMUS 2 instead of the whole collection. It just solved problems with a lot of my IMs. So this concludes the review of Signature 2 cables, and let me know your thoughts on the cable rolling of the IMs. Before concluding this video, I would say that don't trust me, don't trust any reviewer. Try it for yourself, try it blindly, try it with a friend. Yeah, enjoy this hobby, man. Bye.